little warm up from yesterday, huh? Temperatures in the 50s yesterday afternoon, in the 80s this afternoon. We're cooling back off from the highs. 76 in Port Isabel right now, 80 Raymondville and Harlingen. Brownsville checks in at 77 degrees at this hour. And we're not going to go below the 70s across most of the valley all night tonight. A very mild night out there. These are your forecast lows. Remember, yesterday a lot of the valley didn't make it out of the 50s, and tonight our lows will be in the 70s. And then tomorrow, look at the highs. This is about as warm as we get this time of year for the most part. 90 to 93 in the western part of the valley, 89, 87, and then 75 at the beach. Probably not a record setter, so we can get hotter, but not by much. The record for us here in Weslaco tomorrow is 93, and we should reach about 91. 93 is what it says underneath there, so we'll be close. Cooler on Sunday, not dramatically so, but we start warm, we climb up to the low 80s and then gradually fall back into the 70s during the afternoon, and then 74 the high on Monday. I think the western part of the valley may never get to 82 because the front's going to move through there probably pretty early. Radar tonight, quiet over the valley again. A couple of thunderstorms coming out of the mountains. They shouldn't get here. Instead, we just see a pretty quiet Doppler radar over our region. And watch future track. The clouds kind of thicken up overnight, and then during the daytime tomorrow, they break. We get back into some sunshine tomorrow. Looks like a very nice day, albeit a little bit warm. Front kind of sneaks into the area Saturday night, Sunday morning. Some of the models are now showing low pressure developing right about here. And that takes a little while to happen. So when that happens, the front stalls for a little while. Could happen during the early part of the day on Sunday, but when the front stalls, you're in the 60s and 70s back here and in the 80s down here by Sunday afternoon. So it depends on how long it takes that low to develop, how quickly it rockets up the front. Eventually, it'll push the front through and everybody will cool off. It's just a matter of timing. Maybe some breaks in the clouds Sunday night, but Monday the clouds come back in. Probably a little drizzle, a couple of light showers around on Monday, but for the most part, it's a mainly dry day. Chance for a shower thunderstorm with the front on Sunday, and then we dry out by the time we get to the middle of next week. Look at the rest of Texas, finally starting to warm up in parts of the state. All the way up in Longview, it's 71, but back in Dallas, only 49. Your front kind of sitting like this through the state right now, and north of that front, there's still some rain and kind of messy stuff up there. There is the front. It will push northward tonight into tomorrow. Eastern part of the state will all finally warm back up. This next front not as strong, but it'll move through the state tomorrow into early Sunday. That's the front that stalls right on top of us briefly. As long as that low takes to form, once the low moves to the northeast, the front will push the rest of the way through. And by Monday, we're all in the 70s for highs rather than 90s, with probably a little light rain and drizzle around. By Tuesday, the front is stalled and maybe kind of inches back to the north as a stationary front, eventually as a warm front once again. So we do warm back up very quickly early next week. Headed to the coast, winds right out of the southeast 10 to 15. Your bay is still rather choppy because of the winds from yesterday. UV is very high. Small craft operators urged to use caution. Low tide's 3:18 in the morning. The high tide tomorrow afternoon at 1:18. Seas are running 3 to 5 feet. The surface 63. The bay 66 degrees at this hour. So for tonight, just mostly cloudy skies. Partly cloudy early, clouds thicken up. A low of 72, very, very mild across the area. Then tomorrow we start with clouds as the day goes on. Sun breaks out, southeast wind kicks in. Temperatures shoot up to 91 degrees, a very warm afternoon across the area. Almost record setting. We'll be in the neighborhood of the records. Sunday, cooler. It depends on exactly where that front sits for a little while, but then pushes through. Once it does, all the readings will fall into the 70s. We'll stay in the 70s on Monday with clouds and maybe a little light rain, but then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, back in the 80s again. Another front late Wednesday drops the temperature a little bit for Thursday and Friday. That is your updated First Warn 5 forecast.